Craig Melvin and Lindsay have long been admired as one of media's most grounded and respected couples. Graceful, accomplished, warm, and authentically devoted to their family, they've always projected a sense of harmony that resonates with viewers across the country. Lindsay, a celebrated sports journalist, carries herself with sharp intellect and calm strength. Craig, a beloved NBC anchor, is admired for his sincerity, charm, and the humanity he brings to every story he covers. But behind even the most admired partnerships, there are quiet challenges, emotional moments, and conversations that never reach public ears. And recently, Lindsay opened up about a moment that affected her deeply, one that revealed Craig had been keeping something from her. It began with small changes. Craig, who was normally open, expressive, and quick to share stories from the newsroom, started becoming unusually quiet. At first, Lindsay thought it was simply the fatigue that came from early mornings, demanding broadcasts, and balancing career and family life. She had seen Craig exhausted before, many times in fact. She knew the weight he carried, both as a journalist and as a father. But this time, something was different. He wasn't just tired, he was distant, distracted, pulling back from conversations, avoiding eye contact in moments he would typically meet her gaze with warmth. The man who always talked freely about work, about world events, about even the smallest frustrations, was suddenly guarding parts of his life. Lindsay described it as a shift in the air, not dramatic, but unmistakable. One evening, after putting their children to bed, Lindsay walked into the living room and found Craig pacing, lost in thought. His shoulders were tense, his expression caught between worry and hesitation. When she gently asked if he was all right, he gave her a soft smile and brushed the question aside, kissing her forehead. But the smile didn't reach his eyes. And that was when Lindsay's intuition took over. She knew Craig. She knew when something was weighing on him. And whatever this was, it wasn't small. Over the next few days, the distance grew. Craig stepped away from conversations to take calls. He avoided discussing his upcoming assignments. He excused himself from the room more often than usual. For someone who had spent years navigating pressure-filled sports interviews and breaking news environments, Lindsay suddenly found herself navigating tension inside her own home. Quietly, she admitted she began to worry. Was Craig dealing with something at work? Was it a health matter, a family issue, or something more personal he didn't want to involve her in? The silence became heavier each day. The pivotal moment came one morning at breakfast. Craig sat reading through a stack of papers, barely touching his food. When Lindsay gently asked if he was all right, he paused, not for a heartbeat, but long enough that she instantly knew this wasn't something small. Craig was keeping a significant secret. Later that day, he finally opened up. The truth was something deeply personal, something he'd been wrestling with alone. Craig had been offered a major new project that would pull him away from home for months, demand emotionally intense coverage, and interfere with their children's routine. It was a career-defining opportunity, but one that came with heavy costs. He hadn't told Lindsay because he didn't want to burden her. He didn't want to disrupt her work or worry the children. He wanted to carry the weight himself. Lindsay understood his intentions, but the secrecy hurt. Instead of reacting with anger, she responded with empathy. She reminded Craig that their marriage had always been built on honesty, transparency, and shared challenges. She told him she wanted to face everything with him, not be protected from it. What followed was hours of heartfelt conversation about family priorities, fears, expectations, and how to move forward together. If you found this emotional deep dive into Craig and Lindsay's private moment engaging, make sure you subscribe, tap the notification bell, and join us for more stories that explore the truth behind the headlines.